Well, certainly you can't tie it to one, but the president putting a lot of focus on these antibody drugs. We know, of course, he received Regeneron's cocktail on Friday. Eli Lilly is also developing an antibody in this space. Now, both of these companies have filed for emergency use authorization. We brought you that news from Lilly yesterday. And last night, just hours after that video from the president, Regeneron announced it had filed for emergency use authorization as well. And there are still more of these in clinical trials behind these. Now, guys, we'll have to see how quickly the FDA acts here. But the next question is going to be the supply of these medicines. Take a look at what the companies have told us about what they have available if they got emergency use authorization now. Regeneron says about 50,000 doses could be made available. It aims to get that up to 300,000 within a few months. Now, one dose is one whole course of treatment, so that's the number of people they could treat. Now, Regeneron does have a contract with the government, $450 million, under which it would provide those initial doses, and the government would make them available to Americans at no cost. The government would also be responsible for the drug's distribution. Now, Lilly says it has a single antibody, not the cocktail approach that Regeneron's pursued, that it's filed for authorization of. It would have 100,000 doses of that available in October, and it also has a combo approach that it's filing for probably in November, where it would have 50,000 doses in the entire fourth quarter. So, guys, supply of these is going to be the next major question, a similar situation to what we saw with remdesivir. Guys.
Hey, so Meg, earlier, before this happened, and we don't want to rush anything, obviously. You're talking about, a compassionate use for whatever this was. And with anything, especially monoclonals, you need detailed phase 1, 2, and 3 trials, and you need to, have a control group and everything else. So it's very important. But just philosophically, Meg, let's think about what a vaccine does. You introduce maybe a part of the spike protein, your body sees it and manufactures its own antibodies against a virus. Doesn't sound that much different if you're generating similar antibodies in vitro in a test tube and introducing those antibodies that are already against the coronavirus. So, I mean, it almost takes out a step of the vaccine where the body actually has to manufacture its own, and you're just giving someone the antibodies. And I said this the other morning, that's a powerful idea if you're convinced of the proof of concept that you can manufacture one of these that is similar to what the body would do naturally. This could be a game changer. I don't think that Trump is wrong on this.
Yeah, you're exactly right in the way you described that, Joe. I mean, this is an immune response that has been generated by someone against the coronavirus. Some of these are actually taken from survivors of COVID-19. Regeneron also combined one of those with one that it made in its labs. But it is the immune response. And while the initial trials were given as treatment for patients similarly to what we saw in the setting of the president, he was recently diagnosed and received this treatment, it's also being tested as prevention for high-risk patients who've been potentially exposed to somebody with COVID-19. And so it is a similar idea. But the problem, Joe, is there just won't be a lot of these drugs available at the beginning.
That's the problem.
And they're IV drugs, so they're not pills easy to take either.
Right.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.